First question is, do we always need to use hypnotic regression with our clients to get to the root cause? Amazing question. And the short answer to that is simply a no. We do not need a hypnotic regression to get to the root cause. A hypnotic regression is simply one tool that can help us get there, but is not always necessary. And this has been proven time and time again inside our advanced conversational hypnosis sessions. There are times where we don't even need to regress our clients. Sometimes they spontaneously regress to a memory, not always. And when they do have a memory pop up, it's natural, it's organic, it's much more gentler for the clients. I am someone who is trained in the traditional methods, which we'll talk about in the second question, that really forcefully regress clients, and I absolutely hated it. I hated it for many reasons. One of them was that it didn't really feel natural to me. And some clients were too distressed with the memories that came up at times. And now that I know that it's not necessary, it's very freeing to know that, because also some of my colleagues who have been trained in hypnosis really didn't like that process as well. And who likes to be in one of those sessions when the clients are like, I don't have any memory, it's blank. It really just stresses us out, which then stresses the clients out, because they don't think that it's working for them, which is, not a great experience for them. So long story short, do we always need to use it? No, absolutely not. There are a lot of ways that we can help our clients get to the root cause of our sessions. And in advanced conversational hypnosis, we use a conversation, right? It doesn't have to be a past memory. That's one of the ways that we can, but it's actually an inefficient way of doing things, right? Going to 3 to 5 memories is inefficient compared to just asking the mind straight up what the associations it has made are. Because if a client comes to us and says, I don't feel good enough to have a successful business, for example, it's not just one memory, 3 memories, or 5 memories that gave them that conclusion, right? It's probably thousands of memories that gave them that conclusion. So why are we limiting ourselves and our clients' transformations to just a few? So that is what I'm going to say with that for now. So let us move on to the next question, which is, how does ACH differ from NLP, timeline therapy, RTT, or regular conversational hypnosis? So this is a very good question. And the very direct answer to this is that the modalities like NLP, timeline, RTT, regular conversational hypnosis are based on techniques, whereas ACH, we use principles. And I'll get to the actual what that means in a minute. But for example, in any of those, I'm actually trained in a few of these. So for example, we have something like RTT where we apply techniques, right? That's what RTT is based on. So you go down the stairs, you ask the client to go down the stairs, then you do this and that and this and that. It is very rigid. Like, this is what you have to do. This is next. This is next. If this doesn't happen, then you can do this. But if that doesn't work as well, you can do this, but then it's limited, right? Because the tools within it can be limited. And because it's technique based, it lacks the flow of it. And then ACH is quite the opposite. Instead of applying techniques with our clients, we actually allow the client to tell us what they need. And what we mean by that is that we start with a conversation, and we are trained to look for our clients' unconscious information, unconscious expression, and how their unconscious mind communicates. And based on that, that is how we direct the session. We actually don't direct, is not the best word, because we never ever direct the session. The client actually leads the way instead of, the hypnotist or the coach or the therapist leading the way. That is the biggest difference between the two. ACH is completely client led, where we observe our clients, and based on how they are at that particular moment in time during our calls, that is how the session progresses. Whatever comes up, we utilize instead of, a client comes and says, Fritz, I want to work on exercising more and eating healthier, instead of me getting out my script and telling my clients that they love nutritious food, they're choosing nutritious food, instead of assuming that that is actually what they want, which hint hint, that's a symptom. Right? Them not choosing nutritious food is a symptom. Instead of me assuming that, I will go into a session and I will ask, what's the problem, and then they talk about how they cannot, or they have a hard time choosing healthier foods, and they want to exercise more, and we explore the knots and associations their mind has made is stopping them from naturally just eating healthier or exercising and prioritizing their health. So it's a very different approach. Really, that's pretty much the biggest overview and the difference between the two. We don't really memorize anything in ACH. We work through principles, like what are the principles of how to create communication, or breakthroughs inside our client's mind. It is, through following their unconscious expression. And really, that's what we talk about inside our trainings and in all of our sessions. We really just utilize our client's unconscious information throughout our hypnotic interview, so that the client actually leads the session. And if a client cannot visualize, or if a client cannot go back to a memory, it doesn't really matter, because we have a thorough understanding as to what unconscious communication is, right? So those are the biggest differences: principles versus techniques. ACH is principles, which means that there is no limit. We can get creative with it, and it evolves with you. I've had ACH for a few years now, and it never gets boring, ever. And the third question is, what can I work on in my personal development to ensure that I improve client outcomes? This is very, very good, and coming from a place of really wanting to make a difference in the world. So this is a great question. So really, depending on the method that you're choosing or using, and depending on how you feel within your client sessions, that is really where you want to start off with. If you're finding yourself that inside your sessions, your own shit gets triggered, like if a client talks to you about, like, say, grief or something, they talked about a family member passing away, and you're finding yourself getting triggered, and you're really not just empathizing and sympathizing with the client, but you're feeling your own shit come up, then that is something that you want to work on, right? You just don't want to make a list just because someone told you that you got to work on it. Look in yourself, reflect on how your client sessions are going and what you're feeling, the type of clients you're trying to attract, the types of clients you are getting, and the types of results you're having, and how you feel within the delivery space of your sessions. You really want to look at that, and based on that, that is what you want to work on, right? You don't want to just, like I said, you don't want to just work on XYZ because your mentor told you to. Look at what is actually going on within your business, within your personal life, and then that can help you to have better result and outcome. And I'll give you an example. So for example, it's that grief, right? You're finding that you're maybe attracting people who have some unresolved grief, and you're finding personally that you're also triggered within these sessions. Then that is something that you also want to look at for yourself. Sometimes we attract clients who are mirrors to us, right? And might have happened to me sometimes. But really, that's how you know what you want to work on. So there's no guessing. And so when you're finding yourself being triggered, like what are you grieving, right? Like what is something that you maybe still haven't processed internally that is making you emotionally triggered when working with clients? Or if you're finding that a lot of your clients are resistant or not really willing to lean into their emotions, maybe that's going on in your life too. Maybe that's something to look at, right? And so this is how I would approach, and instead of me telling you this is what you need to work on, here is my suggestion, because this is going to be the best thing for you. in terms of your personal development. And this evolves over time, right? And when we allow ourselves to just do it this way, when we actually listen to ourselves and look at what's happening in our clients at this present moment, isn't that just an amazing skill anyway, right? That's more efficient because you're using and working on whatever is coming up at the present moment instead of doing what everyone else is telling you. And so that is those are the answers to these questions. I hope that those helped. And if you have any questions at all with regards to improving client outcomes, how to get to the root cause faster, how to really improve your therapeutic skill sets so that you can gain better client outcomes, so that their transformations are much deeper, so that they can really not just have the transformation that the symptom problem they came to you with. Not only will they receive that, but they'll receive something better. Because isn't it better if your client comes to you and says, "Oh my God, we work on exercising we work on exercising, and not only am I exercising now, I'm actually having a really solid relationship with my kids now. Thank you." And isn't that type of transformation and that feedback from client a lot better than saying, "Yay, you helped me exercise 3 to 5 times a week. Thank you." Like something much deeper and much more profound with bettering their relationship with their kids. um, that is a much better transformation, right? Better for the clients, better for us, better referrals, and much more sustainable. And it really just keeps the fun and the juice inside our sessions too, so we don't dread it. Because when I was using the traditional methods, I definitely dreaded it sometimes. And so I hope this helped. Any question at all, let me know.